It's currently 12:25 in the morning. Do you know where your movie loving ass is? That's right. You're watching Hollywood After Dark for the 10th of February 2021. Fucking Joker. Look at this guy. He's scary as shit. By the way, if you want to call in, the link is currently in the video description. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Matt Jarbo here, $3 Theater. Just doing a late night hangout, late night chat stream. Nothing too important. Don't really have any topics. Just hanging out with my buddy Enosh over on the Poindexter Lounge. I'm a little awake. You know, it's I don't want to be up too late tonight, but you know what? It's like 25 degrees outside, and it's cold as shit. So I don't really feel like just not doing anything. And I talk to you guys about what's going on with you and what's going on in the world around you, especially with entertainment. We see Jack here says it's 3:23 in the morning. Well, I'm on the West Coast, which is clearly the best coast. Let's be fair. So, but I know it's late. It's late, but I work better when it's this kind of late, Jack. You know, I work better when I can turn my late night streams into like a late night call-in show where anything goes. There's no rules except talking about movies and things along those lines. Of course, it helps out if people want to call in. So there is a link right there. It is also pinned in the chat section, and it should also be in the video. Yeah, it's in the video description. So you guys can call in, and you can do it from your mobile device. It's better to go with Google Chrome than anything else. But, you know, as we've been looking at you know, the video I put out earlier today talking about Zack Snyder and having to market his movie himself, you know, it's gotten a very interesting response from people, to be honest with you. And I was pretty happy with it. A lot of people out there were very receptive, and they were appreciative of the commentary, because when we think about it, when we really think about what Zack is doing and what he's accomplished, it has everything to do with, you know, holding on and never giving up hope, and continuing to keep moving forward, which is something that I think gets lost in our society, if I'm being honest with you. You know, how many times, you know, we always hear this growing up, like, never give up, follow your dreams, you can reach your goals, all those things. And the truth is, those things exist. We have the ability to do all these things. But what we lack is sometimes the initiative in where to start. You know, they say that you'll hear someone say something like, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Or to quote Prometheus, big things have small beginnings. And that is true. Those things are true. But, you know, a lot of people have trouble with just starting because they're afraid of failure. And I think in regards to Zack, when I think about Zack, when I think about everything, it's not that I think the man's afraid of failure. I think the man was, afraid of never getting the chance to tell his story, you know. And I think that to filmmakers, that's a regret. To filmmakers, that's a loss, you know, because these people, they want to, you know, they create, right? And it's not just Zack, it's a whole team of people. It's his wife, Deborah, it's the writers, it's the visual effects guys, the gaffers, the sound mixers, the, you know, audio guys, the, you know, the visual effects crew, the CGI crew, all that stuff, you know. A lot goes into it. You know, that's why there's a story. There's the old gag about, like, there's no I in filmmaking, because, you know, it's true. It's a collaborative process, but still there's always that person who is responsible. And in Hollywood and in movies, the responsible individual is, you know, the director, right? Because they're the ones calling the shots. And because, you know, people who aren't involved in the Hollywood sphere, in the movie news sphere, you know, the way they look at it is like they see Zack's name associated with Justice League. If you go and you buy the 2017 Blu-ray, which I actually fucking have, if you look, it doesn't say directed by Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon. It says directed by Zack Snyder. And then Joss Whedon got a written by credit. I think it was like Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio and Joss Whedon, if I recall. It's been a while. But he got that credit because he wrote like 80 fucking pages. So, you know, that was a total change. And that change, that vast change is what people saw in cinemas. And as a result of that, a lot of people don't know the whole story. And maybe I'll need to, and this is definitely a segue into 100% pimping my own shit here, but maybe I need to do a deep dive for PODIO commentary, which, by the way, just last night, posted on our channel, the new channel, did a Cloverfield breakdown. So yeah, that's, you know, I'm happy with it. I very much like that kind of stuff. And so, all right, we got our first person of the night. All I'm seeing are a pair of eyes looking at me. All I'm seeing is Eddie.
Oh, shut up, Matt. You know you love me.
Look at that. It's just like you're coming in, like, because all I could see in the preview was literally just like your nose, the bridge of your nose, and your eyes, and you're just staring intently. Like you're just, you know, you're watching me and you're masturbating from and you could be. I don't know. I don't know what your hands are. One's holding the phone.
My hands are right here.
Oh, now wow, you're talented. That's very talented.
No. I'm like in the Blair Witch. I'm like, I'm so scared.
Yeah, but you're not. You don't have snot and tears coming out your nose, so you're not Heather Donahue. Not yet. We'll give it time. I'll make you cry. I'll make you cry, Eddie. That will happen.
Let me go turn on my light real quick. Hold on.
No. You look fine. Stay in bed. Stay in bed. It's sexier this way. It's just you just gotta, you know. There you go. There you go. All right, man. So what's on your mind, man?
Not much. Like well, it's funny because like I call, like I get in the line right away, and you immediately take my call. But no, dude, I'm excited for the Zack's Justice League. I was actually going to you probably saw my thing in Enosh's channel. I was gonna jump in, but then he had to go, so I was like, oh, Matt's gonna. You know, so I may as well talk to him about it. But I'm excited. I mean, that footage with Steppenwolf, my God.
It looked really good. Yeah, I was really surprised by it, to be honest with you, because I was like watching it and I'm just like, oh wow, like that's okay, that's pretty cool. And then, you know, like, oh cool, it's a fight scene, and then he cuts that lady in half, and you're like, holy crap.
And not only that, but like when he grabbed the strings where the bow and arrows were I don't know if those were strings or whatever, but he grabbed them and basically he threw like freaking ragdolls, all their horses with them on it. I'm like, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Yeah, that looks better than what we got in Justice League, where like they're trying to outrun him with the mother box and stuff, and I don't really remember what happened. It's been so long. But no, it looks cool. I mean, and the Joker image today looked fantastic.
Oh my God. There is, well, let me, before I get to the Joker part, I just want to say, when after looking at that Steppenwolf video with the versus the Amazons, I'm like, yeah, a lot of SJWs are gonna bitch about this.
Like, one woman did on Twitter. I saw this yesterday. She was like, "Oh, you support violence against women?"
Yeah,
and you're like, what? You know, like, what?
It's a movie.
Well, it just the argument like made no effing sense. You know, she's like, if you like this, you clearly hate women. Like, no, what? Like,
you know, I hate it when people make arguments with no context. That just,
well, you know. I mean, like, the thing is I understand the context. Like, I understand how like the online social justice warrior's mind works, because I've spent so many years like listening to their terrible arguments, and it's all about, it's all derived by emotion. Okay. Everything is by emotion. And so what they see is this creature, who, by the way, I just wanted to bring up this image from BVS to see like what Steppenwolf looked like in 2016. And so, yeah, what we're seeing is an updated version of this, because this is kind of like a hologram.
Yeah, because I was actually going to go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying it's like, you know, this is what we get to see on this one, which is pretty dope. And you know, so people were like, "Oh my God, I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way this looks." Blah 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 blah. You know, was it Jack here says someone called PETA for the horses? Yeah, dude, 100%. like so stupid. PETA for, yeah, I know. Oh my God, they harmed a horse. Oh my goodness, he had like 8 arrows in his back, and they were attacking him.
I know. Animal cruelty, that's it as worst.
well, here's the thing here, and I think Shrek is daddy.
Sure.
Makes it you know what? And I've brought this up, and I've been called a heretic or a hater for bringing this up, but he's got a point. What if the Snyder Cut sucks? Now, do I believe that? The answer to that is no. No, I don't. I don't think it's going to suck. I think it's going to be just fine. But there is that argument, the argument to be made because we haven't seen it yet, so we don't know. Now, is everyone going to like love the movie? Probably not. Is there going to be people who would just watch it to nitpick on it? Absolutely. But I think the core fan base is going to be there for it. But it's kind of like, I don't want to like, and I know this is maybe like, it sounds like a defense of a shitty filmmaker, but BBS is a movie that you need to watch more than once because there's a lot there in the subtext, and there are people out there though that hate the concept. They hate the idea of having to watch something more than once to quote unquote get it. Right. So if they're not getting it right away, then they feel like because the thing is, nobody wants to feel like they're fucking dumb. Nobody wants to feel dumb, which is one of the reasons why people don't want to feel like, so when it comes to movies, this is one of the reasons why we see spoilers in trailers. This is why there's over marketing. There's a lot of that because people don't want to feel like they don't get it, because then that causes them to like that. They don't like it. So it just kind of makes them feel bad. And then that affects how they feel about this. You've never heard anyone go, man, I really liked being wrong.
No, never.
You never hear that, especially when it comes to entertainment. It's like, so people want to know what they're getting. And we've kind of established this society now that just likes to spoil shit for themselves, or they want to also intrinsically find things to hate, because then that would make them feel smarter, So it's I
was going to say too, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say that, I was going to say like, there's going to be the people that are against it, are going to watch it, but they're going to hate watch it, because even if and deep down, they'll know it's a lot better than what they say it is, but then they're still going to come out or would give their reviews or wherever on whatever forum site, and they're going to say, oh, this movie sucked still. Like Zach does not understand Superman and why in this.
I hate that argument. I hate
those arguments too. Yeah. And it's just like they're going to hate watch it anyway because they're this is part of like their own protest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like their protest. Like, they're going to watch it anyway because of their quote unquote curiosity, but they're still going to come out the same as they went in, or they're going to hate it. That's why hate watching is a thing.
See, this is the thing. I don't hate watch stuff. Honestly, like, I can't do it. I'm just like, I'm like, why would I want to be angry watching there are YouTubers that I don't like, that I just don't watch. I'm not subscribed to. I don't follow them on Twitter. I get sent things that they say. So like, that's how I'm made aware of it, or other people like retweet it. So that's how I see it. But otherwise I don't go and I tend to forget these people exist. That's how I want to live my life. But it's like, I understand people wanting to like hate watch it, but at some point in time, I can't tell you when it happens, but at some point in time, if you hate watch something enough, you're just a fucking fan. That's what you are.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
You could say that you're not a fan, but deep down you really are, but you don't want to admit it because you're afraid of getting called out for being a hypocrite.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've said this before, everyone's a hypocrite. Like, everyone, in some way or another, everyone's a hypocrite at some point in time. But it's true. It's like, if you like hate watch, people who are like, oh, I hated Man of Steel, I hated BVS, I hated Suicide Squad, I hated this, I hated that, I hated, and then they're like, all right, but I'm going to watch Justice League. Why would you waste your time? Like, why would you waste your time with the 4 hours that you're going to spend watching this thing just to get angry at it? I mean, like just go watch some like hardcore BDSM porn or something, wank off real quick, and you'll feel like a better use of your time. That's all you got to do. But it's like, people are so like, and the thing is, like, there are times like, I know I'm stubborn, like I'm very stubborn on a number of issues. And like, I shouldn't engage with, like, I should disengage from the conversation, but I want to be right. And that will get me into a fair amount of trouble. And so it's like, I can see that, and it's, but that's,
I mean, I followed you since 2016. So, I mean, I know how you were then versus how you are now.
I'm a lot more laid back now. I would say I'm a lot more laid back now. Yeah. Like, having kids kind of pacifies you.
More of my respect.
Yeah, I
I
just want to
mean,
like talk about shit that's cool, you know, like fucking. That's where I personally am at. But
yeah.
what I want is like, and I agree with Cosmic there in the chat saying like, it's either good or bad. It can never suck, which is true. And there are
Mhm.
also someone saying that CJ Strider says if it sucks, there's going to be a lot of denial, which I agree with. I think there's
Of
going to be.
course.
I think if it's like, because here's the thing: Wonder Woman '84 was not a good movie. All right, Wonder Woman, like I
I
enjoyed.
actually finally saw it.
Okay, what'd you
Um,
think?
well, because I was good because my since thanks to my friend who hooked me up with his HBO Max account finally, I actually saw it, and for me, the movie has a lot of issues, and yes, there's a lot of things that make no sense. That I agree with you on, and this is how I viewed the movie. Personally, if long story short, I like the movie for what it was.
Okay.
However, you know how like when you went into Venom and you know how Venom objectively was not a good movie, but you still enjoyed it for what it was. Like that's how I went into Wonder Woman 84 because I was watching it and a lot of the things that make no sense. I even kind of rolled my eyes during some scenes, but then I kept on watching because I the movie overall to me was still entertaining, even if it was just one of those turn your brain off type movies. That's how I felt with the movie. Like how you felt with Venom, that's how I felt with Wonder Woman 84.
Well, I mean, like I can look at some of the. Well, okay, Venom was like objectively kind of poorly made. It was also made very quickly,
Right.
but but the plot is easy enough to follow, and it
Right.
doesn't leave you going like, wait, what? At the end, like the bad guy dies, good guys
Mm-hmm.
live, they live to fight another day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They join forces to fight crime, become the anti-hero. Venom ends
Mm-hmm.
on that high of a note. And it also establishes a future film, especially with Carnage on the horizon, which I can't wait for. And
Woody
and
Harrelson's gonna crush it,
he's
yeah.
going to be so good in that role. Plus, it's also part of the Sony, expanded universe that they're doing.
Has he
And
played
that
Psychopaths before, Woody Harrelson?
has he played a what?
Has he played a psychopath before in past movies
Yeah,
he's been
Natural
in?
Born Killers, an Oliver Stone film from like '93 or '90, or maybe it was '91 or something like that. It was in the early '90s. He played, yeah,
So
and
you can
all.
definitely see Cletus Cassidy from
Yeah,
this guy.
if he goes full Natural Born Killers, which I kind of hope that he does, that's going to be, wow. It's kind of like John Bernthal in the Punisher when he played the Punisher in Daredevil season
Mm,
2. He modeled the character after Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver. He went full Travis Bickle. Especially like
yeah,
if you go and you watch Taxi Driver and then you go and you watch Daredevil season 2, you're like, holy crap, they're the same character. You know,
yeah. And it's
like
funny because like notice the no, I was gonna say real quick, like notice the rooftop scene in Daredevil season 2 when they're having their little back and forth,
love
and
it.
you can yeah, you actually hear and you only hear it subtly, but you hear John Berthal say fuck, and you only hear it
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah, you do. You hear it. You hear it. It's
But
great. I love it. Season 2 of that show is my favorite. I really
yeah,
love it, and I was actually really looking forward to doing another watch through of it tonight. But hey, man, I got a few people that have joined up. I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna move on to the next one.
all
So,
right.
all right, thanks a
So
lot,
I'll
Eddie, for
just
coming on
watch.
in.
I'll just keep watching. Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Dude, I love talking to you. You're a great friend, and I definitely want to keep on doing more of these things as much as you
Yeah,
crank
I
them
like
out
to
each
have the
stream.
call-ins, man. I think it's fun just to chat with people, see what's on their mind, and then go from there.
And hopefully we'll have more time to chat. Because that would definitely be great. I mean, I have you on Twitter, and I'm following you on Twitter too, so you already know
Yeah,
that.
it's just a little late and it's a weekday. It was kind of an impromptu thing. That's why it's like not going to be like
Mm.
longer than like an hour, so I can get some sleep. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
well,
yeah.
I'll do it. I'll do it again. We'll do it longer, and we'll bring in like we'll do a trailer park after dark or something like that pretty soon.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely love to do that.
All right, dude. Well, have a good one then. Thanks for calling on in, man.
All right, man. Have a good night. Bye.
Have a good one. All right. Thanks for Eddie for coming on in. He's always a good guy. Skywalker the Jedi. What's going on, dude? Love the shirt.
What's going on, Jarbo? How you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling pretty good. Look. Oh, god damn it. Let me get rid
Oh
of
yeah,
that. There we go. Look at that.
yeah. Oh yeah. Got a
Biggest,
rep.
biggest, baddest motherfucker.
Yeah, man. You already know what I'm here to talk about. But first, before I get into what I wanted to bring up, I wanted to say, hey, if it's bad, right? Like I was looking forward to Wonder Woman 84. Now, granted, that I was nowhere near as invested in that as I am in this, right? But I was still much looking forward to that movie, and I didn't like it at all. And I've been very vocal about me not liking it. So, yeah, if I truly don't like it, I have no problem voicing that, right?
Yeah.
But I want to say this. Just I had seen what you said on Twitter the other day about about how both sides
Oh, some people got Zack Snyder's dick in their mouth.
yeah, right.
I mean, but it's true. Like I'm being it's hyperbolic, but it's true.
No, I totally get it. Right. Yeah, and like there really is, right? But I just want to really say that yeah, like, I don't know if people understand what it really felt like, right, in 2016 to be like a fan of everything that was going on, and then to just like get this, because it was an onslaught, man. And I think that that's why we're a little like overprotective at times, right? And people get a little bit too like wound up. It's because like, if you go back to that time, I mean, pretty much like every big news outlet on the internet, pretty much like that was covering this thing, was just like slandering this movie. I'm talking about BVS, and even like just Man of Steel and everything that Warner Brothers was doing. And it seemed like, being a fan of the things that were going on over there was almost like, like it just wasn't cool. And it's like we had no real outlets, you know what I'm saying, like that was like, that had any kind of like, mass following. That
I get that. I do get that. And when Gamergate happened in 2014, we were getting like, we wanted ethics, and a lot of the journalists were, trying to label us as like precursor to the alt-right. That's something that came later on. I've been personally blamed for Donald Trump getting elected. So, and like that's in a book, by the way, in a published book. Which is just crazy. It's like, yeah, sure, put that on me. Thanks, Dick. Right. But I get it. And the thing is, we had no one to take up our cause, right? No one to fight for us. And so the first person that came along was someone from Breitbart, of a far right wing publication. And
I really remember that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it was almost one of the things where I was like, whoa, is this even real? Like,
well, and at the time you don't think about it because you've got, and I get it. Like maybe I'm an old school, like, YouTuber. I'm an old school social media person. So I'm cynical as fuck. Like I'm just bitter and I'm cynical. So it's like, I just see things and I'm like, I can see where this is going. I've been down this path before. And a lot of it is just me being cynical. So there are people that are like, oh, he's just a low key hater. I'm not a hater. I talk about this stuff because I'm interested in it. If I'm not interested in it, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like there's how many things have happened that I don't talk about. I just don't find them interesting. So that's the whole situation. I'm just not going to do it. But when it comes to like this thing, like the thing where the Snyder Cut fandom did better, where they ultimately got ahead above so many other fandoms, is that they succeeded in their mission, right?
Yes.
And that's something you don't hear about very often.
Yes, right. Like, and it's really, it's been quite a journey. And I have seen, and I just recently got back on the Twitter because I was off of Twitter for like years. And I just made a new page like a couple weeks ago. And it's been crazy just getting back into Twitter and then seeing how everything is. And it's just like, yo, like, I feel like, these, like, I'm even getting more caught up in these arguments now. And then it's like, yo, it's like, it's just, like you said with that lady saying that, hey, if you support this, then you're supporting violence against women. Like, how ridiculous is that? Like, they are Amazonians fighting to the death to protect Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like what did you think was going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. And, It's just at every turn. I mean, even look, right? They just put out the picture of Jared Leto, and people are mad that the tattoos are gone. I'm like, but weren't we mad that they were there? Right?
I'll tell you this.
like
There's actually, like back in 2015 when Ayer first posted the first image of Joker.
I remember
that iconic image. I actually came out and defended it, right? Because
yeah.
I was laying in bed, and it was like 2 a.m, and I'm surfing Twitter from my bed because I'm totally addicted to social media.
Yeah,
And people are like, I think what it was is like the Amazing Atheist, who I'm friends with, was talking shit about it, and I was like, man, fuck that. All right,
Yeah.
like I like this thing, and so I got out there and I said like, this looks cool. Like I'm okay with this. I want to see this take they're going on here. And what it is everyone just looks at the previous Joker, right? So it's like when Heath Ledger first came on, when he was first announced to be playing Joker. Everyone was like, what, Heath Ledger? Like 10 things I hate about you, Heath Ledger?
From Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, like, oh, what, like, is he just going to show up and like butt fuck Batman for a whole movie, like in the mountains somewhere?
A Knight's Tale, the guy.
Yeah.
From,
hey, well, hold. You can't talk shit about A Knight's Tale though, man. That movie is fucking goat. That movie is great.
But you didn't see Joker from A Knight's Tale.
No, you didn't see it. And I remember like seeing the first trailer for it and going like, whoa, and then going and seeing it like, opening day, first showing I could get my hands on, was like, whoa, this was so good. And and then it's like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Everyone's like, oh, that was really good. But you know what? There's that argument to be made that Joaquin Phoenix, as great as he was playing not the Joker that would go on to fight Batman. Yeah. This is a different kind of tale, but I still love that movie and I loved his performance in it, but I'm okay with a one-off. And like I said in my video today, Suicide Squad came out 4.5 years ago. We're still talking about Jared Leto.
Exactly. So and we barely even saw him.
And you barely saw him. Like, yeah, there was a ton of footage that they just left on the cutting room floor. So the way it works out is like you've got a lot of people that really want to see this, and that's only grown. You know what I mean? Like you can, and I've mentioned this, and I always bring it up, is the DVD sales, home video sales for Batman v Superman in the first month and a half. The fact that it was the top of the charts for that long shows you that people wanted to see it. And as much as I'm not a big fan of Humberto Gonzalez from The Rap, he made. I remember him though. He was on Collider the day that BVS Ultimate came out on digital. So June 2016. And he was on a panel with Campia and John Schnepp and I think Jeremy Johns. There were the 4 guys that were there. And Humberto made a comment.
I actually remember that panel. Yeah, as you think about it.
It was a good panel. It was a very good panel. It was a very good discussion. And I totally missed John. I totally missed Schnepp.
Yeah.
And so what he said though is because he supported it, he liked the movie, and he goes, by Warner Brothers cutting out this 30 minutes, they left money on the table.
Yep.
He's like, I estimate that they left about $250 million on the table.
Yep.
And that was I believe that was a pretty significant number because that would have put it over the billion mark, which obviously was like that was the threshold they were going for. But it makes sense.
And then are we even having this conversation now, right? Like, it's just so weird how at every turn they handicapped him and then blamed him seemingly for how things turned out, right? Like you would think that the reception to the Ultimate Edition being what it was, as in everybody is universally saying that this is a better version of this movie, wouldn't you think that, hey, we should go let him do what he's going to do on this Justice League movie, because we just handicapped him and look at what happened.
Well,
right?
But no, they
did the opposite, and it's like, okay, well, no, let's just Marvelize it. And oh man, it's
but at the same time, so there's another aspect of this that we never really talk about, and then there are more people that I do need to get to, but the idea here though is like, okay, so Autumn unfortunately died. Mm-hmm. And then, Zach says like, he didn't have the energy to fight the studio for what he wanted. So, he exited the project. They brought in Joss. So that is our history. That is what happened. Let's say Autumn never died. And let's say that the movie continued on as planned. Now, would they have done reshoots? Absolutely. Would Joss Whedon have come in? I don't know, because Joss Whedon wasn't announced, I think, until like May, right? Or he was announced. I think he was announced to do the rewrites, and then it was announced in May he was going to be taking over. So Joss Whedon's dialogue with Zach's visual style, I mean, I'm not saying it's great. It could have worked a bit better. It definitely would have worked a bit better than what we got, because Joss Whedon simply can't shoot a movie like that. But there's also going to be, with Zach stepping down, that removes him from the contract, from the agreements. So if let's say nothing bad had ever happened and we had gone ahead as planned, the movie, the Justice League still would have been shorter than the Snyder cut that we're getting. And potentially a home video edition that would have been a lot better. But we wouldn't be in this position at this point in time. So, I'm just saying, it's like everyone, again, like Joss Whedon is a dick and fuck that guy, but not everything is his fault, and I think a lot of people,
absolutely
I think that's something that, but we never talk about is like the, what if it never happened the way it played out situation. Because it's also kind of, I'll admit it's kind of pointless because we don't live in that reality. Maybe the Flash, could make that happen, but he doesn't fucking exist either. So we're fucked. But hey, in a month we get to watch the movie, so screw it. But that's the only thing I'm saying is like, this whole thing is, like going back to your original point though, I get it. The champions, the Snyder Cut fandom has had to champion itself and has had to coordinate in order to build upon everything and make it something that never quite goes away. Like at a moment's notice, we can make it trend. And then when it trends, all the blogs write about it because they're whores for content like the rest of us.
Absolutely.
And so then it keeps going. And it's like, look, you think, you think that once this movie comes out, that there's not going to be a concerted effort to make Justice League Part 2 happen?
Oh yeah. Come on. Right. Like yo.
But it's a totally different ball game though, because beforehand the footage was already shot. Zach,
I know,
was looking at what the studio had wanted, and then he shot it his own way as well. So he had the alternative take that he wanted to fight for, and so he had all that stuff ready to go, which is why the investment of $70 million isn't like another 250.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be the next step. Is like, are enough people going to sign up for HBO Max? And that's what we don't know. So that's what I'm concerned about. I have my subscription. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I hope more people sign up for it because I want more people. I want to see more from this world is really where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah. And I think that we're gonna get it. I got faith. But look, thanks for talking to me, Jarbo. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, did you see that meme I sent you?
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Absolutely.
Did you at least laugh a little bit?
Oh, I laughed out loud, literally.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
One day I'll share it. One day I'll share it. I probably won't, but
nah, but yo, good talking to you. Good go, Jarbo.
You too, man. Have yourself a good one, man. I'll see you later. All right. Thanks for coming in, Skywalker. He's a good dude. All right. Got Dan. What's going on, man?
Nothing. Good morning. Well, for me anyways.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you in the East Coast timeline?
Oh, no, I'm in the Central Coast timeline, but I work the graveyard shift, so I get up at like 2 in the morning.
Oh, I get you.
On my days off, on my non-days off, I get up around midnight.
I used to work graveyard for a casino doing security back in the day, and I would work from like 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., so I get you.
Yeah, not fun. I work for Amazon right now in a warehouse, in a delivery warehouse from like 1:05 to 11:35.
Oh yeah. A buddy of mine was doing that in San Diego and like told me that they totally fucked around with the scheduling now because they're trying to like, you don't get to work like short shifts. You have to work these like insanely long shifts.
Well, I've only worked for Amazon during like the COVID era, so
it's
always been insanely long.
Man, but I mean, do you mind me asking how much you make an hour?
Oh no, not at all. My base pay is $15 an hour, but I get a shift differential. A shift difference, I can't say differentiate, of $1 an hour.
Okay, so it's roughly like $16 an hour for a 10-hour day.
Yeah, but it would be $15.50 if I only worked one day of the weekend or no days of the weekend. They have like different shift options, and the only ones that were $1 differentiator were the 2-day weekend. So
Okay, I understand that. Do you do full time or is it just like a couple days a week?
full time, 4 days a
Wow.
week, but 10 hours a day.
Yeah, no, I get that. Man, that's insane, dude. I thought about doing that myself because just making some more stable cash than doing Uber right now, but I do need to walk more. That's the other thing too. I'm a lazy ass. So I
I mean,
thought
they treat you very well. So, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Amazon because it's like big corporate and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah, they treat their employees pretty well, honestly. So,
well, I mean, they've been criticized for like not allowing you to like go to the bathroom, and people have had like pee in water bottles and like, dispose them in trash cans.
oh, no, we can use the bathroom. I mean,
Okay.
we prefer to like, try to plan ahead, but we get a break every 2 hours. So it's like, it shouldn't be that
Yeah.
hard to
Okay.
plan ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I get that. I'm just saying it's like there's been so many, especially during COVID that's come out where people have been, it's fucking weird. Anyway, so yeah, so what's on your mind, man? I know you've been waiting a little bit. What's on your mind?
Oh, no problem. Jared Leto's Joker and the possibility of maybe that of Zack Snyder's Justice League leading to the success of the Snyderverse, particularly the Ayer cut with the Joker.
I think that's all like, if that's like what I would like to see come out of that. Like, I don't know if we're going to get anything more, but I just want to see what we can get now, which with the Ayer cut is something I'm really interested in. Cause like, I feel like I'm sometimes like the only asshole that really liked Suicide Squad.
Oh, I did too, honestly. But it's like, now that I heard all the stuff about David Ayer and like the reshoots, I'm kind of like, I enjoy the movie, but now it's kind of like ruins my enjoyment of it, Because knowing the backstage drama, knowing that it wasn't David Ayer's vision. Another example is I like the third act of Wonder Woman, unlike a lot of people, but hearing what happened, it's like, I feel bad because it wasn't artistic integrity.
Yeah, and that's always the issue when it comes to filmmaking. I mean, the studio clearly wanted to make money. I think they wanted to make Suicide Squad make it pop as much as they could in order to make up for the BVS not doing as well as it did, because BVS only did 860 somewhere in there, or 850. It made over 800 million, and I think they wanted Suicide Squad to like really do well in order to make up for all that, right? So I think that's why they did it, because they wanted it to have more market appeal. Because I think they overcorrected from BVS. BVS, it's too dark, it's too long, all this crap, right? And it wasn't. They cut the movie down, and people didn't know that the other cut existed. So,
Yep.
plus, I mean, I'll admit, I like the soundtrack for Suicide Squad. I really do. That 21 Pilots song, Heathens, that was like my jam for the summer of 2016, I'm like, I really liked it. But I do want to see what Ayer has to do. I think the artistic integrity matters. I do think it matters.
Well, especially for Jared Leto, because he did all this work and none of it was shown.
Well, I mean, but that's all. But they always overshoot for these movies, right? It's never shot chronological, and they always have extra things that they shoot. I mean, go and look at the first trailer for Rogue One, right? Almost none of that footage is in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I have. It's been a while since I've seen the trailer for Rogue One, but yeah, I still just feel bad because, I mean, I don't know how, because it was like 90% of Jared Leto's. It wasn't like.
Well, so the thing to consider with it right now is look at it like this. It's not so much what was in Suicide Squad, it was what was meant to come after. So they were talking about a Jared Leto solo Joker film. And then they were talking about a Harley Quinn in the Joker movie and all of these other things, right? So they were talking about like keeping the character alive and expanding upon the character and giving him a franchise. And then that didn't happen because for whatever reason.
Because Warner Brothers are idiots, the old executives.
Well, there's also that, and they also, I think the story about Joker, the 2019 movie, I think goes all the way back to the summer of 2016, right? If I recall, like when Todd Phillips first approached Warner's about talking about it, about the idea of doing something along those lines, and that kind of took over. Because at the time Warner's wasn't owned by AT&T, so they weren't thinking about the multiverse. They were like, look, we need to make money. We want to do this. They want to do this Joker movie. All right, screw it. It could be bad, but we're not going to care. It's a $60 million movie. We'll write it off. But the thing is that because of the attacks on the filmmaker and the attacks on Joaquin Phoenix, the attack on the movie from the media, it ended up elevating it to this like cultural status that it was never really meant to get to. And they turned it into this almost like it was a fucking martyr. I mean, like, when I went to go see the movie, there were police cars that were on either side of the theater, as a deterrent. And I live in a town of 40,000 fucking people, and there's like one movie theater. And it was like there was 3 other people in the screening I went to, but they still had a police presence because there was that fear of something happening. And that fear that was created and that was crafted by the media is a big, big, big problem. And that is something that ultimately, was like, that was their own goddamn fault. But because of that, the conversation around Joker elevated so much that people flocked to go see it. And because it was a good movie, it maintained that level of success. They were originally saying like $80 million opening weekend. And then it was like, well, but it could go down to $50 million opening weekend, $91 million opening weekend. Blew away expectations. I mean, Venom a year earlier did the exact same thing in the exact same weekend, by the way. Venom, they were saying like, $45, $50 million weekend, $80 million weekend. So it's like, that was a big factor. And then people just kept watching it. And that kind of also took away from Jared Leto. There's a report that came out that Jared Leto had apparently tried to kill the Joker movie. And people were like bashing Jared Leto on social media. But when you start really looking at the history of his relationship with Warner's in regards to Joker, like I said before, he was promised like a Joker movie and a Harley Quinn spinoff movie with him. They were going to continue it going, but they scrapped it in order to do this art film essentially. And so, yeah, there's reasons why he did what he did, but now everyone talking about him today, getting that first look of him as the character, and people are excited to see him come back. And so now years later, he's getting that, he's getting that return, very similar to how Zach is getting that return.
Exactly. We can thank Zach for that, because Zach's the man. Let's be honest here. I mean, he's bringing Jared Leto back to life. That's one reason why I firmly believe we are going to get more, because I'm just saying, Zach's doing a lot of work for a one-off that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, we will, this could lead to the air cut, but also Jared Leto having like a role in the Nightmare timeline in both Justice League 2 and Justice League 3, fingers crossed, and fingers crossed again, the Batflick series.
Yeah, well, that's the one I care about the most at this point.
The
Batflick one, yeah. That's because here's the thing is like, and again, I love to get criticized for being like a negative Nancy, but it's really just being pragmatic. What the most of that we've seen so far, that keeps everyone talking is the nightmare sequence. That's not going to be a big part of the movie. There's a lot more that, unless that is, I could be wrong. But like, from my understanding, it's not going to be like, look at BVS. The nightmare sequence was like what, 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was, and so people want to go back to that. They want to go back and they want to see that. So that ends up being this different situation where it's like, again, people need to kind of modify their expectations. How much is Joker going to be in the movie? Probably only a couple minutes.
Well, he was only in the additional photography, which Zach said was 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. And but was all of that footage, was all of that centered around Joker and Batman?
I think there were 2 scenes from what I understand, and one of them was centered around Joker. And
okay,
I could be wrong. So,
but here's my question though: was that Ben Affleck in the suit that was in the first shot we saw in that hallway
Zach
shot?
Confirmed it. He even talked about how Ben Affleck was so excited to be back in the bat suit.
Okay. I didn't see all of the interviews Zach did, so I probably missed it. He was doing this pretty big, push for a while. Motherfucker needs to come on my show though. That's all I'm going to say about that. But all right, man, I got a bunch of people to get to still, and I'm running low on time. But Dan, thank you for coming on, man. Stay safe working, getting those packages ready to go. I know it's crazy out there, and I appreciate what you do.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And I'll be doing more call-ins, so feel free to call in anytime, man.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks for Dan. We're just going to quickly bring in Zen. What's up, dude?
G'day, mate. How's it going?
It's going all right. I know you said you had a quick thing you wanted to say real quick.
Yeah, I actually thought of two things, but like I'll be super quick, man. The first thing. Oh, by the way, good chat the other day. I don't know if you remember me, but like we had a sort of
I
chat after the show.
Yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah. It's good to sort of learn a little bit more about you. But anyway, sorry, man. First question was like I'm pretty big on music and music scores and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I actually didn't really like the Suicide Squad, because I thought it was more towards like, you know, like poppy music, or not pop music. It was more towards like non-orchestral stuff, and that's the stuff that really grabs me with like, you know, epic movies and stuff like that. The question was, though, do you think that we're going to get a Junkie XL score album, physical copy of the album, like prior to the movie, the Zack Snyder's movie? Because usually that's what happens.
You know what? I would argue probably not.
Yeah.
I would say that physical.
Because that's a whole different income stream as well.
That is, and I think Junkie XL score was fantastic for BVS. You know, and what he did for Wonder Woman was great too. Danny Elfman's score for fucking Justice League was just not good.
Yeah,
and I love Danny
Elfman,
Elfman,
man. Yeah, so do I, man. Like, you know, I love the Simpsons intro, and I love his 89 stuff. Like, I mean, I like his Batman theme. I still rock the Batman theme quite a lot.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
that's not a bad thing at all.
Well, yeah. So this is the thing, because music is a quite a big thing for me, and music sets also a set, like it creates a visual for me, and that score was trying to bring the visual of the 89 into Zack Snyder's world kind of thing. And to me, that just didn't fit. But I love his Batman score of the 89 film, but I just didn't like it in the Justice League because I just didn't think it fit.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of like not having it's kind of like not having the John Williams score in Man of Steel, right?
Yeah, like it's a good score, the John Williams one, but it's not a good score for Man of Steel, right?
Yeah, it's just it doesn't fit, you know, and people got really mad about that, like, oh, but wait, no, what, no, you know, and you're like, no, like just chill the hell out real quick. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get a physical copy of that, and I don't know. I know it's done. I know a score is done. What they could do is they could sell it early. You know, they could do through Amazon where it's like a direct printing and then shipping. They might have to do that kind of drop shipping sort of thing. And that would be okay. I think that would sell pretty well. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't know with COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, to give you an example, I talked about Cloverfield the other day, right? And I did a whole thing on Cloverfield, and like the score at the end in the end credits is an overture called Roar. And it's a great overture. It's from Michael Giacchino. You can't find that in physical media anywhere.
Yeah, right.
You know,
it's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my opinion. It's one of his best works. And you just can't find it anywhere. So it's like there's a lot there that just gets lost in this world of digital only. And I would hope that they would focus on the fact that physical elements, especially merchandising, is a big revenue stream for Warner Brothers. It's also something that a lot of the fan base wants. You know, if they were to go like a Zack Snyder Funko Pop, you know, like Enosh would buy it. You know, all those guys would buy it, and they would sleep with it under their pillow at night to grant their wishes and to give them sweet dreams and stuff. And you know that would happen, and then it's a revenue stream and it's a moneymaker. And yeah, I think that don't nix on the music, because you know music is clearly a large piece of life. And it doesn't ever get the attention. I don't know. In the modern world, it doesn't get the attention and respect that it deserves. So that's my big thing on that. But all right, man. Is there anything else you want to address real quick? I think we lost him. All right. No, okay. There you are.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you for a second.
Yes. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. The other quick question was, do you think there's a lack of original films these days? Do you think we could get a new franchise film like a Star Wars in like the new world of just a brand new film franchise that hasn't been done before? Because I'm sick of reboots. I just want some new sci-fi or like fantasy kind of movie that hasn't been done before. That's an original depiction or something like that.
You know, the thing is, okay, so I know like when it comes to like Warner, like HBO Max is in this position right now. Same with Netflix and the same with Disney Plus, where they are like IP mining whatever they get their hands on. And, you know, you look at like Disney Plus is like, okay, WandaVision. That's something that's entirely new and it's wonderful. And then you've got like, you know, Mandalorian, which is again for Star Wars, something that's entirely new and it's amazing. Netflix purchased Millar World, right? Which is Mark Millar's comic line. And, you know, the guy behind Kingsman, The Secret Service and Kick-Ass and a bunch of other stuff. They bought his entire company as a way to, for not only production, like adaptations into visual media, but also to make comics and to distribute comics. So they were going into this whole world about doing all that kind of stuff. And so what I think we're going to see a lot of smaller IPs that might start getting the push for that. Like look at the Umbrella Academy on Netflix. That's done very well. That's a smaller IP. Lock and Key.
Wheel of Time. Novel. Didn't that get bought? Wheel of Time.
Amazon. Yeah, they're filming it right now.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. I'll leave you to it, man, because I know you got a few people to get to, and it's probably late for you. So
yeah,
cool. Cheers, man. Thank you.
There. All right, man. I'll see you later. Have a good one.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Underhaven. What's up, man? Diamond. Oh, you there, Diamond? Hello? All right, well, hold on here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
I had to reset my microphone. It was on the wrong one by default. All right, sorry.
That's okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I just got hit with that whole I have to use the bathroom very bad. I'm just going to bring everyone else in. You guys talk amongst yourselves for like 5 minutes.
All right.
And I will literally be right back.
Holy crap. All right, I'm going to talk amongst myself. All right. I don't think much more needs to be said. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. I don't know who the fuck you are, but nice to meet you anyway.
Nice name's to meet you, John, so I call in.
Yeah, I call in here occasionally too. I actually just wrapped up doing my own call-in show. I used to do Boulder Talk Radio with Matt, but we he mostly moved on to focusing into this type of stuff.
Something different.
Yeah, something different.
No big difference.
I really enjoy this channel though. He does a lot of cool stuff on here. Like I like him talking about movies. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, my question is basically, why can't someone do like a dual leading role of two actors? And when you do the production, you wind up with two different movies with two different endings, but with the same characters in both movies, and you wind up with two movies from one.
That could be an interesting idea for like an independent fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, someone take that idea for sure.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's similar to like Columbo, where you saw the guy, you know, that did the murder, and you saw Columbo trying to chase the murderer, and you're the audience watching two things happening at the same time. There have been similar films like that, but I mean, I like to invent things, so you're always looking at IP and how you make money from your inventions. Yeah. And so how to make the money, I'm like, why? To me, it's like a studio should have your theatrical cut, then put all the cut stuff out into the DVD release, and so the people that watch that buy the DVD even more.
Here's the thing that I feel like Hollywood isn't able to take like a risk like that, or at least like they could 100%, but they're not willing to take that risk. So I feel like it would have to be like an independent film to like prove the worth of that concept, and then Hollywood would come and steal it with no credit to the original source man. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just well, I was thinking of something different. It was not that, but most films they have all the extra footage. So why don't you add like why is it not standard at the hour that's cut away or you know?
Oh, you mean like the Ultimate Edition for BV?
Yeah, I mean
even that didn't include all the scenes though, right? Like,
I mean, most of them really don't. I mean, it's
yeah, you're right. There's too much stuff that goes on the cutting room floor.
The only movie that I remember that really had a lot more added to it was like when they took 2001: A Space Odyssey, and originally it was 2 hours. Then on TV, I saw the 3-hour version. I'm like, dude, you know, even though there's a half hour of total commercials in 3 hours, there's more film here than there was before. They must have added a whole bunch of stuff, you know.
You know what though?
Okay, I'm back.
That's a good point too, and that's why I love the idea that Disney's kind of introduced this idea of like doing like a limited series that's movie quality. Like that's what I really like about WandaVision, and that's why I'm really excited to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. Because I feel like hopefully this catches on and gets a lot of people invested, because then I feel like that could be a much better means of storytelling than trying to shove so much into a movie. Like, think about how many movies, like how many film adaptations of TV shows or anime or whatever the fuck it is, like how many of them fail just because like they try and shove way too much into 2 hours. If they have the time they want to make of it, you know what I mean? It could be a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be fair, and I'm back, by the way. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I guess the exception would be Heaven's Gate. That was a turn, no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, I mean, inevitably, there's always going to be some bad adaptations, no matter how much time people have.
Well, I mean, I think even that, it's like adaptations are really only designed to make money. You know, there's some things are really cool to see adapted, but I think like a lot of books, like the Harry Potter books were actually pretty easily adapted. Because the first one was only like, the novel was like 270 some odd pages. And the thing is the Harry Potter books are also very straightforward. So, because they're for younger kids, so they don't do a lot of exposition into, philosophical things, right? They might briefly touch upon it, but they were able to really make those work. Whereas something like Lord of the Rings requires something that is very long. Like I would like to see Lord of the Rings adapted into a TV show. Not like, I know we're getting one, but like actual Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King.
Oh yeah, like the actual film arc.
Yeah,
sure.
like actually, and then even The Hobbit. Like give us a full season of The Hobbit. Even though the short story is very short.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, a limited series could be a good excuse to actually do that right, do it justice, and not the opposite problem of what usually happens, rather than something that should have been just one movie being, shoved into a movie. It had the opposite issue, it was elongated into 3 movies when it shouldn't have been. It could have been one movie or one series.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that like the Harry Potter series on HBO Max would be pretty awesome.
I'm interested to see like what a Harry Potter series would be like, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is though, it's like I don't know, they apparently have a deal, like Universal has the rights to it for like the next couple years, so like they can't adapt Harry Potter like that's gonna be like the book series, so that but they can do like a spin-off, and by then, so it's, I mean, like that's the thing too, is like all these studios are going to be that have kind of like mined out, or sold off their IPs to other companies for distribution.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, they're just gonna like run out the clock, and when they run out the clock, by that time everyone's gonna have a fucking streaming service. I mean, Paramount Plus launches here pretty soon, right? And what's going to be on what's going to be on Paramount Plus? It's like all Star Trek all the time. We're going to have.
I think that name change was a good idea. Like,
better than CBS All Access. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I would argue at this point, CBS All Access has not had anything really good to kind of like fall back on. If I'm being honest with you, what I mean by that has everything to do with like look at their premium content, right? You've got Star Trek Discovery, The Stand, a couple things here and there, but nothing that's really kind of like captivated people in a way that has not been mocked.
Did Twilight Zone get canceled on CBS?
No. They got Twilight Zone. They are doing some stuff on there. Twilight Zone season 2, I think is like it's already been shot. I think.
Yeah,
but Jordan Peele is retiring from acting. So if they do a season 3, he won't come back as like the Rod Sterling character. And the thing is too, is even the Twilight Zone season 1 got criticized pretty heavily for, some of its stories just were not very good. From what I heard, I don't have CBS All Access anymore. So,
Oh, I watched them, and they were original. I mean, they weren't just copies of other stuff. So
okay,
I actually had no problem with that. I was like, oh, wait a minute, what about Twilight Zone? I haven't seen the new series. I think I haven't seen season 2, so I saw season 1, but I never got around to season 2. So.
I mean, CBS has got like a bunch of shows and stuff that could be, that could be good. And I think they're going to also do when they move over, because now that Paramount and Viacom and CBS are all under the same umbrella, that means Comedy Central is going to be able to go over there. Even though HBO Max paid for the streaming rights for South Park, but like, look at the Comedy Central shows. Like, I mean, imagine, has anyone here seen Strangers with Candy? It came out in the early 2000s. It's got Stephen Colbert in it. It's a weird fucking show. It's a weird show, but it has a bit of a cult following, and that was a Comedy Central show.
There's quite a few gems like that on that channel that people not a lot of people know about.
Yeah, so it's definitely I think if they start migrating over the Comedy Central stuff, and then also doing what HBO Max is doing with, going after the adult animation content, because Disney's got the kiddie stuff locked the hell down. They've got that whole side locked down, and Netflix also has a lot of child entertainment that they work on.
Who would actually do Aeon Flux as a streaming service?
That would be MTV, which is a Viacom company. So that would actually be over on Paramount Plus. God damn, yeah. If they bring back all of the MTV's Liquid Television on Paramount Plus, I would consider getting a subscription for that.
That would be dope. Yeah.
To go watch the Max, or to watch the Head, or Aeon Flux, or Liquid Television, or
because Aeon Flux
Beavis and Butthead, the original Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah,
Ren and Stimpy. I mean, the bartender,
Nickelodeon content, all going to be on there. Yeah, Nickelodeon content. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was drinking at the bars in the Navy, the bartender knew I was drunk when I started laughing at Ren and Stimpy, because I wouldn't laugh at it until I got drunk. And when I started laughing at it, he would cut me off because he knew I was wasted. That's funny.
That's crazy, sir. You are probably the most annoying drunk on the planet, if I would say.
Jesus Christ.
What? I'm just saying, it's like, no, I can laugh at Ren and Stimpy sober, and if John here is like, I can only laugh at it when I'm fucking shit faced. I'm like, how annoying of a drunk would he be? It's like, I find that to be funny. It's like, cool, don't pee on the electric fence is only humorous to you when you're hammered. So how bad are things gonna get? I mean, can we get him hammered and then start migrating him towards an electric fence and just go, you know what to do?
Oh yeah. Well, see, it's one of those where you don't get the jokes until you get drunk, then you get all the jokes. But that's just the way I am.
I don't know if I'd go that far, dude.
It's just that's not funny. And he sees me laugh my ass off. Okay, he's drunk.
I think you need to get yourself a new sense of humor if you think that Ren and Stimpy is not funny unless you're drunk. Although the guy who made the show was, I think, what is he, an outed pedophile? So
he was up there.
It's a little bit on the side, Like,
he's not a good dude, but I mean, separate the art from the artist. Other people were involved in the show,
Yeah.
True.
No, totally. I know, totally. It's like, I think Doug Tenapple's a gigantic piece of shit, but I love Earthworm Jim.
And I love fucking Cat Scratch, which is another thing that he created. So,
also, do you ever see Sock Boy?
No, I've never seen Sock Boy.
Sock Boy was a web series Doug Tenaple made back in like 2007, 2008, and they did like four pieces to it and like 4 parts to it, and it's about like this guy named Ronnie Cardova, and it was like really over the top stuff. It was like this web series idea, but for the season for like Sock Baby 4. They got Doug Jones to like be, because he's friends with Doug, and they got Doug Jones to show up, the guy who played Abe Sapien in Hellboy, and he's Commander Saru on Star Trek Discovery. He's been in a lot of stuff. You would know Doug. I do know Doug, actually. And so that's my flex. But they got him, and they got like the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite and his brother to like show up for like to just kind of like mess around for this like season finale of this thing. And I was on the red carpet for the Spike Scream Awards in 2008, and I had seen Sock Baby 4 at Comic-Con that summer. And Doug Jones came walking by, and I just yelled out, "Sock Baby rules!" And he turns, he looks at me, and he just goes like, "Somebody saw it."
At least somebody saw it, right?
Yeah. Well, and then a year later, I was working with Doug on a web series that we were shooting in San Diego, and I got to talking to him, and he's all like, "You look really familiar." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "Well, I met you last year on the Spike Scream Awards red carpet." He's like, "You're the Sock Baby guy." You know, I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, he's like, I always can remember people where I meet them. And you are confusing because we'd met before at another event as well." And he's like, "But I can never place where I meet you because I've met you at all these weird, unconnected events." And I'm like, I get around, Doug. I get around. That's what I do. But yeah, there's a lot of, you got to separate the art from the artist, like, again, like as much as I think Scientology is insane, I love me some Mission Impossible.
Sure, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can still acknowledge that Scientology is nuts and enjoy those films. Like I said, and like you've said multiple times before, making a film is a multi-person process. Tons of people are involved.
You got to do it like that. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think we also tend to like lionize the names that we see, because those are the names that we see. So we end up associating credit. I was actually watching this Kevin Smith thing on YouTube the other day. It was a round table. Like it was like dinner with it was Kevin Smith, Jason Lee, Mark Hamill, Stan Lee, and J.J. Abrams. And it was the five of them having a conversation about the industry and just telling stories. And, J.J. Abrams at the time was working on Alias and Lost. So he hadn't really gone over to do like, Mission Impossible or the other stuff yet. And so he's talking about like how he's like, people always associate everything with me. He's like, I'm not the only one. So when things go great, I get all the praise. But when things go bad, I get all the hate. And it's a very true statement. It's a very true statement. This is way back in the day. And he said this, and it's true. It's like we look at, like if a movie's shitty, we blame the director, like The Last Jedi. We blame Rian Johnson. Yeah. But that actually makes more sense because he was the writer and the director. So, there's that.
Also, there's the fact that, in my honest opinion, the two J.J. Abrams sequels were pretty fucking good. I just didn't like The Last Jedi. Just my opinion.
Wait, are you saying like Star Trek Into Darkness was good? Is that what you're saying? Or
I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, because you said the two sequels.
Oh, okay. No, the two that he directed. So not Rian Johnson's. I like the ones that he made for Star Wars.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, I thought those were pretty good overall, if I'm being entirely honest.
No, I mean, well, Rise of Skywalker is not my favorite thing on the planet, but I still really love The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the way I look at 9 is he tried his best, and I genuinely do think like it was pretty well pulled off, especially all the Leia shit, given what they had to work with. Like a lot of that movie does still impress me, considering he had to really clean up someone else's mess. I feel like if he got all 3 movies, the sequels would be looked back on at least as pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. It's just. Yeah,
I mean, but just think what would have happened if Colin Trevorrow would not have left the movie. If he wouldn't have had that creative dispute and left the movie, like how disjointed would it have been? How absolutely disjointed would episode 9 have been? Or it could have been brilliantly insane.
Yeah, maybe that's what was actually needed. I don't know. Maybe that would have given it more identity, because now it just feels like, 2 pieces of a puzzle and one weird in between with someone else's diversions. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that would have been more interesting at least.
Well, a fourth here makes an interesting point. He says TFA felt like a television pilot that just established characters. It never felt like a real movie. Well, and I mean, and that's kind of, we already knew going into it that it was going to be a trilogy. So it's not like, if you go back and you look at the original, A New Hope, just when it released in 1977 was just simply called Star Wars. So, it was just Star Wars, and then it was Empire Strikes Back, and then it was Return of the Jedi. It was not A New Hope for a long time because he didn't think that it was going to be, there was no plan for the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
There was no plan for that. But the sequel trilogy, we knew was a sequel trilogy because they announced it as a sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And they did actually plan it out. Kathleen Kennedy admitted this. Did you guys ever hear this one? She talked about this, where at Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams and Kathy and I think Chris Terrio or whoever Lawrence Kasdan, because he co-wrote The Force Awakens, they went into a room and they created whiteboards that had the entire thing planned out. Because when you're setting up a trilogy, you have to establish the arcs. So that means you have to plan out where the arcs are going to go in order to establish them to go down the right path. Right? So something happened in between that planning phase and then giving the sequel, The Last Jedi, to Rian Johnson. Something happened in there, and I still don't know specifically, and I'd love to find out. And it might just have been JJ leaving the project, and so they just, not wanting to come back to do the sequel, and so they just, okay, we'll give it to Rian Johnson and let him do what he wants to do. Because Johnson was writing The Last Jedi while they were finishing up working on The Force Awakens. So he had access to all the resource material.
Right.
And still chose to write it the way that he wrote it, and no one questioned him on it. And and that's something that, like, I think the biggest problem there was, like, I think what they thought was that Star Wars fans were stupid. That these were just men in their 40s that had grown up masturbating to Slave Leia, or maybe Jabba, whatever they're into. And then at that point, they like, they're not going to care, right? Because the prequels, they tried telling a story and everyone hated the prequels, so why would they care with the sequels? But the thing is that the sequels, being as controversial as they were, started making the prequels better movies. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, of course, 100%. I noticed that, and now that also started people making the argument, well, the sequels will be seen like that years down the line. I'm not so sure about that. I'm really not.
Well, I meant, like, 20 years ago, I ran across a 12-episode outline that was supposedly done by George Lucas for 12 episodes of Star Wars.
I've never heard about 12. I've heard that he had, like, ideas in mind for 7, 8, and 9.
He had 10, 11, 12 as well.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was.
I just don't remember. Where
we don't know what those stories were, but that's what I had heard. Like, or it could have just been him talking out his ass.
10, 11, and 12.
Holy shit. Like, hi guys, my name's George Lucas. Yeah. I've got 12 movies that I want to make. 12 movies. Because here's the thing, Star Wars was so profitable.
They rhyme.
Yeah, it was so profitable. It was so popular that remember, he made all of his money, his billions of dollars, off of merchandising.
Oh yeah.
And then he let it sit for 16 fucking years. He let it sit. And he didn't start working on he didn't start working on the other until, what was it? 94, I think. So 11 years. But still, the franchise sat stagnant and people were clamoring for more.
There was still expanded universe material in the very least. Like, there was comic books.
That wasn't until like 91. I mean, there were comics. There were comics that were done. Marvel did produce comics in the 70s. Yeah. So people could still get Star Wars stories that way. But the expanded universe didn't kick off until the early 90s. So, I mean, again, it's one of those things where it's like Lucas didn't care about keeping it going after the fact. He didn't. He put more emphasis. They built up Lucasfilm as this, ILM, Skywalker Sound, LucasArts Gaming, and started building up those things. Because, I mean, there were a lot of great LucasArts developed Star Wars titles.
Oh, there was a ton of great.
Yeah, I mean, look at Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, or Maniac Mansion, or Escape from Monkey Island.
Man, you're making me sad. I'm so sad that LucasArts just fucking shut down.
Yeah, that hurt. See, you know how like the EU fans got all butthurt about Disney canceling that when they scuttled LucasArts. I was legit like, you bastards, you sons of bitches. That's my childhood. What are you doing? It's my childhood. So
yeah, that's pretty shitty.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like there's some stuff there. So all right, here. Okay, so I'm over my limit by a little bit, but there's one guy here who just jumped in. Let's see what he has to say. Comic book fan gaming.
Yeah, so man, you and I have met before, man. When I was like freaking one name. But how you been, man? But
I'm okay. Well, what name did you go by?
Iron Gaming, Iron Knight Gaming.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I thought you died fighting Thanos, dude. What happened?
And let's just say it's not doing so well.
Okay.
Still finding those Infinity Stones in the multiverse, in the alternate timelines. Anyway,
in the multiverse of madness coming soon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you guys were talking about Lucasfilm and how George had that set. Yeah, to me, that was a crime and a shame. I mean, he had a property that really was clamoring for more, and for both better or for worse, I'm glad Disney is doing that. My biggest fears now is I'm hoping it doesn't go the road towards the Alien franchise. I mean, and I really hope that it really doesn't, because the Alien franchise crashed and burned.
Yeah, the Alien franchise had a chest burster episode. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the Alien franchise could have done, like, you know, it could have gone so many different ways, but Covenant, my God, Covenant.
I don't think they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna do many movies for a while. I think Mando's the future. They're gonna do some series for a while, get themselves straightened out.
I mean, they are doing the Alien TV show that's for Hulu, I think, that Noah Hawley is working on. They announced that at the investors meeting. After they denied it like a week beforehand.
Yeah,
the Alien TV show.
I wonder if they go off the Dark Horse Aliens versus Predator stuff.
Well, that's all. Well, let's all get the facts straight about that whole thing. That's all fan fiction. I mean, like, unlike the Legends continuity of Star Wars, the Alien and Predator comics were never canon. Never. There were probably some were, but they were never canon. And
I feel like canon's a really interesting conversation these days because people are more attached to it than they've ever been. And it kind of like, I don't know, to retroactively put that into things that never really had ideas of a canon as things are today.
I get you what you're saying. But I mean, I'm not saying Dark Horse was terrible. No, I think Dark Horse did amazing ideas. And I really think that they did a really good job with them. It's just that as an Alien fan and a Predator fan who enjoys them and knows that Predator and Aliens books were never canon to the movie, or never really canon to the 20th Century Fox era
it's just
of movies or whatever. And maybe there were some, but there were just only tie-ins to a movie. It's just, to me, I'm just like, I'm hoping Disney goes good job on Alien. But as for Star Wars, I'm just like, I'm really hoping they treat it with good hands, because, you know, I'm not going to be what's that word? I don't want to be the guy that kind of says, I don't know, Captain. I don't know. That's a good idea. Throwing that idea, having Jon Favreau or what's his face? What's
Filoni?
Dave Filoni, and as the future of Lucasfilm, because it makes me think. I'm like, okay, well, let's say we get these guys as the future for Lucasfilm.
It's probably going to happen. Yeah.
No. I'm actually saying, like, if they're the future, like they're the ones going to lead the door, they don't have to run Lucasfilm. They could just make Star Wars shows or movies.
Well, of course. I mean, they're probably going to just start off handling the...
Well, I think what's going to happen is, like, they're going to kind of break it up. I think there's going to be, like, Lucasfilm, and then there's going to be the Star Wars division of that.
Yep.
And maybe the Indiana Jones division, and then like the Willow division and whatever else, you know. But Star Wars, Star Wars absolutely needs someone to run it. Like, they need, like, the story group needs to, like, have an overseer that is a little bit better than what they've got.
You think they'll try and get the Solo guy to play Indiana Jones?
Alden, you know what? Like, I don't.
How would you feel about that, honestly?
I'm not against it per se. 'Cause I thought he did a pretty good job. You know, I thought he did a pretty.
I don't think he did a bad job either. I think people give him too much shit just because the other movie was.
I think
not
personally,
so
it was just. I think personally the movie was decent, but overall, I think it was overshadowed by the hatred of Last Jedi, which
of course, yeah, that's the movie's biggest failure.
Well, I mean, like we're looking at the sequel trilogy as a whole. I'm surprised I'm surprised nobody's talked about my problem with the sequel trilogy is lack of caring of the sequel trilogy on producing a comic book series around that entire era, around that area of the sequel trilogy to develop the characters a little bit more frequently, because it really bothers me that Rey, Kylo Ren, Finn, all these characters really get very disappointing conclusions without a proper development. And I look at the Clone Wars cartoons and of the prequel trilogy, and I'm like, at least with the Clone Wars cartoon, they developed Anakin Skywalker. They developed a lot of things. They really stretch
very well.
They stretch as far as they can go from Attack of the Clones down to Revenge of the Sith, and it really made that entire trilogy enjoyable. If you take that the cartoon away, it's a very bare bones, watered down, just very disappointing trilogy. And I feel like if we ever got that with the sequel trilogy, I think people would change their opinion on it. But yet again, I don't know if Disney is going to do that direction, because if they ever do a comic book series, it's too little too late, because you have to had it back in that time period. But I guess if you're doing a second Clone Wars cartoon and it's successful, anything can happen. You get what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna do a third one called The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yep. It's coming. I wasn't gonna try and shove in my question, but since it's related, could I do that real fast?
Yeah, sure. I gotta start winding it down anyway. So.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up after this. But so which Mando spinoff are you more excited for of all the ones that have been announced so far? Because there's a lot. So.
The one I want to see probably is the Ahsoka one.
Me too. That's the one I'm most interested in. Definitely.
Oh well, I'm the Thrawn group, so when they had the Thrawn pop out, I'm like, I'm
very interested in that too. So don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
he's totally going to be the fucking Thanos of Star Wars, 100%.
Mine would have to be that Sith TV show that's coming.
The Acolyte. The Acolyte.
Yeah, that one I really am looking forward to, because I'm hoping that we get to know more about the Sith and what they represent. Because there are so many things in Star Wars between Legends and the newer continuity that really, it fascinates me. Why do they have to be angry, or why are they so different than the Jedi? And also, where can their power go beyond of a normal Jedi? That stuff it fascinates me in just their history and everything between. But I got one final question, and I know you're going to wrap this shit up. I really want to know, let's say the Zack Snyder cut is everything we want it to be, but they don't do a sequel. Then what we do?
Well, I mean, if you want to see a sequel, you're going to have to, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to fight for it,
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it's going to have to be it's going to have to be that. And I know a lot of people are definitely going to be able to do it because they have, they're hardcore, diehard fans, and they're going to want to make sure that, like that they get hurt again. I think they will.
I'll be signing up for exactly 1 month just to see the streaming service and also to support the movie. So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
I mean, personally, for me, I just want to see Darkseid versus Thanos. Not Darkseid. Superman. Because I really the whole between Superman versus Darkseid in a movie together is just $1 billion film, if you ask me. I mean, I think it would be a way more better just seeing that than what we saw with Thanos fighting the Avengers. I really feel like it would make a lot of great things. And to me, I personally feel like they're kind of screwed because Matt, I know you don't really like the multiverse, but I always feel like with DC they're only saying that as an excuse. And it only does that because if there weren't, and if they were really serious for this universe to go forward, we would already have that Ben Affleck film.
I think that there's already a chance, honestly, that this whole multiverse thing is just going to be an excuse for them to like tweak and tone the things that they don't like about this universe. If this movie ends up being successful, I think that they're going to keep the continuity and just use the multiverse thing to like, all right, let's pick out this part we don't like, placing a new actor here or there, whatever. I think that'll probably happen, at least in small amounts. It'll just be an excuse, basically, but.
I agree.
I mean, I already personally feel that they ruined Wonder Woman, and I'm scared shitless what they're going to do with Aquaman.
I don't think 1984 was that bad, if I'm being entirely
I mean, because I'm like, you're telling me that she could do all this stuff, but yeah, she didn't do. No, it breaks. No, you could. It's not. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's the more logic standpoint. And I'm only using a logic standpoint. Okay, so you're telling me she could fly, and she could not help Superman all the way up to the point where Superman was pushing Doomsday going forward. It's just, or utilize that golden armor, what was left of it, and pretty much fight Doomsday with it. It's just, it makes problems in your movies. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Marvel films that are prequels, like Captain Marvel or Eternals, where, oh yeah, they were here this entire time. Captain Marvel could have been the one that helped the Avengers.
I feel like, honestly, that's not really Wonder Woman 1984's problem. That's a problem of doing like a superhero movie or any movie as a prequel when it's not really well thought out how it implies what goes on later down the line. You know what I mean? So that's kind of inherent to Wonder Woman as a franchise.
You make a good point on that one. But anyway, it was good talking to you, Matt. I mean, I really love to see you do this more because I mean, there's always stuff that I really feel like. I mean, I always like to ask you questions on like I just feel like what's your thoughts on Darkseid's look? You just mind asking before where you go.
Oh, I think it looks really cool. I'm really hyped to see like what the movie ends up looking like and stuff. What happened?
No, you go on. I got what you're saying. I mean, like personally for me, I'm excited because I really seeing Darkseid in live action. It really makes me kind of proud that they didn't go with the apocalypse look, and I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't do that direction. I'm hoping that this spawns into a sequel because I mean, honestly, I just feel like if we don't get the sequel, I mean, we might as well just pack our bags and get the hell out of here. I mean, that's just how I feel. And it just really kind of bothers me that, I mean, on having Cavill not treated the respect that he deserves as Superman for both Warner Brothers and fan viewpoint. But anyway, I'm done now.
All right, man. Sorry, I'm starting to fade. It's almost 2:00
All
here.
right.
I got to be up really early. But all right, everyone, thank you for coming on in. And Andrew here says there's a lot of talking about nothing. Yeah, well, it's late.
Yeah,
I
it's
appreciate
late.
it, Andrew. Thank you.
It's late.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming on by. We'll do this again later, and actually we're going to be finishing it up here at just about the 1:30 mark. So, all right. Peace out, everyone.